There's a beard there.
Oh, okay. It looks very light.
I trimmed it down a little. I trimmed it down a little bit.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sunday night special. Is the Mizzle Dub Show. He is Mizzle. I am Dub, and he is going Super Saiyan today with the salute and tribute to one Mr. Goku, to which that's been his other moniker for many years. So, how was your 4th, sir? Looks like you had some very fun festivities taking place.
It was awesome. Had a good time. Just hung out with some family. Kept it real low key. Trying to keep that Rona away. Stay safe, everybody. 6 feet.
And please wear a mask.
Yes, very true. But just kept it light. Did a little bit of the fireworks for the boys. Brought in. It was also Al Davis's birthday. Raider Nation. That's right.
Maverick.
Yeah. So pretty light. I mean, Vallejo sounded like a war zone. Fairfield was decent. And when I came back home, they didn't stop until at least about 2 a.m.
Well, before I went to sleep.
Oh, you went to sleep?
Yeah, that actually did happen. Yes, I actually. Well, it was more of a little power mini nap. But before that took place, even in broad daylight, somebody decided to light off a thing of fireworks. I'm just like, really, like, seriously. And last night over here definitely sounded like a war zone. The funny thing is, the main part of the strip did not light fireworks. It was more towards downtown Fremont Street and other places in North Las Vegas. But of course, locals are just going to go buy fireworks and just light them up just because.
And you live in Nevada, so it's pretty legal.
So, it definitely sounded like gunshots and bombs and tanks, like I'm in WW2. But nonetheless, I really feel bad for the dogs because it messes with them and really messes with soldiers that suffer from PTSD. So just think about that, folks. If you want to light fireworks, just be considerate of others. Anyhow, well, there have definitely been some topics over the last few days since our last show that we did. And we are just going to jump right into it. Of course, the main story that has really taken the airwaves in the sports world has been, will Dan Snyder finally give in and change the name that has been the name since the 30s of the Washington Redskins? Now, a little history lesson. Before we get into that, the Redskins were originally called the Boston Braves. They did originate in Boston. Then, in the 30s, former Washington, the first owner the Redskins ever had, George Preston Marshall, decided to change the name because he didn't want to mistake his team with the National League. Boston Braves, of course, the Boston Braves eventually became the Atlanta Braves.
Yes.
And George Preston Marshall changed the mascot from Braves to Redskins. Now, speaking of George Preston Marshall, he was a well-known racist, and of course he was the last owner in the NFL to integrate his team. He refused for many years to have people of color on his football team, but because of pushes by who the stadium is named after, Robert Francis Kennedy, among other members of the Senate, demanded that you integrate the team, or you could not play in what is known as RFK Stadium.
Yes.
So I guess reluctantly, George Preston Marshall decided to do it. And of course, his first pick was former Heisman Trophy winner at the University of Syracuse, Ernie Davis, who never ever played a down in the NFL, who's tragically passed away shortly, and thus said, "I'm not playing for George Preston Marshall," which led him to trade Ernie Davis to the Cleveland Browns for Bobby Mitchell, who recently just passed away, who is a Hall of Fame player, was the very first black player to play for the Washington football franchise, and of course had a Hall of Fame career, was with the organization for many, many years, although he voiced his frustration in feeling slighted because he felt like he should have gotten the GM job, but of course the second owner after George Preston Marshall was Jack Kent Cooke, who, if you don't know who Jack Kent Cooke was the first owner of the Los Angeles Kings franchise.
Also, that.
So, so it's a long history involving this team. So just for those that have not know what's going on, so originally Daniel Snyder, who bought the team in 1999 after the passing of Jack King Cook, they moved the Redskins to Landover, Maryland, which where FedEx Field currently sits, and since then I've called them the Landover Redskins because they play in Landover.
Exactly.
But that's another story from the time. And since he has bought the team, he has said forever, I'm not changing the name, I'm not budging on it, I'm not doing it. And even though there has been a poll a few years ago in the Washington Post that said that the natives were not, some of the natives, not all, some of them were not offended by the name. But again, the natives have protested outside of RFK Stadium
for years.
So it's always been that topic, even though it didn't catch mainstream 2 years later. But of course, one of our motivations for doing the show obviously was from Tony Kornheiser and Mike Wilbon, who do Part of the Eruption PTI on ESPN. For many years, they were columnists and writers for the Washington Post, and since the 80s, they have talked about this subject about the name needs to change.
That
and perhaps
how far this goes back. This is just not nothing new, like nothing with all this other stuff that's going on. This has been just like this Black Lives Matter movement. This is not just something new. This has indeed been talked about for years.
Well, the first story came out when Nike, of course, Nike is now the uniform supplier, gear supplier of the National Football League.
Yes.
And if you go to their website, they took off everything that involves the Redskins merchandise off the website. Now, if you go to NFLshop.com, it's still there, but if you go directly to the Nike website, you don't see any of the Washington football team gear. So that was, I guess you can say, domino effect number one.
Yes.
Then
we have the naming rights of the stadium. FedEx per se, has said they're taking the naming rights away from the stadium unless the Redskins change their name. It's getting serious.
Keep in mind, the lease of the name for FedEx ends in 2025. Now, with that said,
are they breaking their lease?
Some would say you can say that, but here's one thing I find fascinating. Now, of course, switching back to George Preston Marshall, the Redskins' original owner. Now, it's a known secret that there is some land where RFK currently sits to possibly build another stadium, where the Redskins can come back to Washington and once again be called the Washington football team. But the mayor has said, if you want to come back to DC, that is fine, but you must change the name. Now, in addition to that, there was a statue of George Preston Marshall that sat outside RFK Stadium and was recently removed. And another thing I find fascinating is the granddaughter of George Preston Marshall applauded and approved of her grandfather's statue being taken away from RFK Stadium, saying it's about time. Again, all this goes back to where, of course, again, as we previously said, the Redskins, the Washington football team, was the last team to integrate people of color. Now,
and not to jump off there, since they integrated, they've won I believe 3 Super Bowls, correct?
They have won 3, yes.
And how many did an African American quarterback win for them?
One by the name of Doug Williams,
Amen.
who,
Okay.
as you said, beat the logo in Super Bowl 22
Yes, he did.
32 years ago.
Yes, he did.
Well, not to piggyback off, but going back to that particular game, I know there were a lot of black people that were not necessarily Redskin fans, but you can tell they were pulling for
Oh,
Doug Williams
oh
on
yes.
that day,
Most definitely.
and
Most definitely.
and
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 he had a target
perhaps,
on his back. He had a target on his back.
yeah, he did. Um, and given the story that he went through, now not to go all full detail into the Doug Williams story, but he had lost his wife. So lost his wife, trying to revamp his NFL career after he was let go by the Buccaneers, playing the USFL. Joe Gibbs calls him, come to play backup, trying to play backup. Then
Boom.
87 season comes, Jay Schrader struggles. There's quarterback controversy. Joe
Yeah.
Gibbs sticks with Doug Williams. Rest is history. But
Exactly.
needless to say,
Yes.
watching Super Bowl 22, to which I still have the VHS copy of the game, shows you how old I am and how VCRs were the thing back then. But I don't think I've ever seen my grandfather, God rest his soul. I don't think I ever seen him be more proud to be a black man than he was on January the 31st, 1988, when Doug Williams not only won a Super Bowl, but was Super Bowl MVP,
Yes.
and is still in the front office in the organization. Some say hopefully he'll get a shot to be the GM. And given the fact that you have Ron Rivera, who is a Latino, half Puerto Rican, half Mexican, instead of coach, hopefully that'll happen.
Well, they're moving in the right
Hopefully,
direction per se.
hopefully Doug Williams will get the chance that Bobby Mitchell did not get the chance to before Bobby Mitchell eventually passed away earlier this year.
Correct.
But now, back to the current subject at hand. FedEx has said we will not name the rights to the stadium if you don't change the name, which the Redskins or the Washington football team, whatever you want to call them, took off the name of George Preston Marshall in the press box and named it after Bobby Mitchell. So as you can clearly see, they're definitely getting rid of the memory of George Preston Marshall and trying to, I guess, steer away from his tenure, even though I know some people get in their feelings about statue removal. Here's what I say to this. History is history. It's in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would say talk about it, understand what happened, understand why it happened, but here's what we can do to progress and not make the same mistakes as we did in the past. That's what I say to that. Understand it, learn it, take the value for what it's worth, but progress and don't make that same mistake again. Now, in addition to that, it's already saying that they were looking to it. Obviously, Ron Rivera has been in talks with Goodell. Goodell has been in talks with Daniel Snyder. And, of course, now PepsiCo, which is the Pepsi Cola company, which is the official soft drink of the NFL, for the most part, saying that we're going to stop, we're going to back out if you don't change the name, in addition to FedEx, in addition to Nike.
So we're talking new sponsorships here now. It's getting
Oh,
more.
yeah.
Of course, they already lost Nike and FedEx, but now we're talking about who also supplies the Super Bowl commercial.
And the Super Bowl halftime show, yes.
Oh, okay. So now we're getting into something more deep. And we all know Daniel Snyder is not going to change his mind. I don't know what balance is going to come in with this because he said he's never going to change the name. He sees nothing wrong with the name, which there is something wrong with the name, and I agree there's something wrong with the logo as well.
Well, what a lot of people don't know is actually a Native American actually drew the logo,
This is facts.
which currently It's on there right now. Which, for the most part, before that went to this current logo of the Indian sheep on the helmet. The original logo for many years was just the R on the helmet with the feathers.
And then they have spears too. A spear, right?
Yeah. If you go back to the throwback helmet, which is almost kind of a resembling of your beloved college football team that you cheer for, the Florida State Seminoles.
Indeed.
But the thing about that is, Florida State has actually worked with the tribes.
Yes.
So
That's why there's no problem with Florida State to
there's
change.
no
They
problem
understand.
with they understand. Now, my
Yes.
thing is this: um, if you want to honor the Native Americans, which I'm all for, because again, they were here first.
Preach.
I'm all for that. But what I would do is, whatever area you live in, I would get with the tribes or whatever organization they belong to,
Mhm.
and since this is the D.C., Virginia, Maryland area from which they play, because keep in mind, for a long time before the Florida teams came and the Midwest team came, the Washington Redskins were like the only team in the South.
This is correct.
As far as that region, they were the only team in that area. So thus, that's why when they were on TV back in the day, you would get a lot of those games in that area. So a lot of teams had exposure to them.
Yes.
But I definitely would get with the natives and say, look, we want to honor your history, want to honor your heritage. Okay, what names can we use? What names can we not use? And then if they give us some feedback and say, okay, you can use this, this, and this, then we'll go from there. Or if they just like, don't want y'all to just use anything else, that's fine too. Now, today, about an hour ago, from the Washington Post, um, minority owners are
Mhm.
now trying to back out
Yeah.
of being affiliated with the football team. So this came 2 hours ago from ESPN, talking about three minority owners of the team are seeking to sell their shares because they are not happy being a partner with the owner, Daniel Snyder. This is, of course, according to the Washington Post. So, prominent businessmen Robert Rotham, Dwight Scar, and Frederick Smith, who combined own 40% of the team, they have hired an investment banking firm to undergo a search for possible buyers, according to the Post. So
Forty
it is
percent.
really
40% ain't nothing to frown upon. Excuse me. That's some serious stuff.
it is. It is. It really is. Um, of course, all this has kind of stemmed off of what happened in Minneapolis with the whole George Floyd situation
Yes.
and what's going on in the country right now. But it's one thing to have a stance on something, but when it talks about possibly losing sponsorship,
Yeah.
of course, sponsorship equals the almighty dollar. And of course, we all know that the NFL is a $1 billion business. And even though the Redskins have not won consistently since the days of Joe Gibbs, they are a very lucrative franchise in making money, according to Forbes.
Yes.
Now, obviously, Daniel Snyder is a wealthy man, which is why he bought the team in 1999. So this is his almost 30th year. No, not 30th, but definitely,
Said 99,
yeah,
right?
30th. Yeah, 30th year owning the team.
21.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. 20,
21.
22.
Oh,
21
yeah.
years. Okay. So in 21 years, you really haven't done much winning. You changed head coaches like you change your underwear.
Yeah. But
I
then
mean,
got
just
rid
think
of a
about.
coach that was winning though. They got rid of a coach that was winning. That's what I don't understand with that one. I mean,
I don't need. Well, I mean, you got rid of Marty. And I think Marty was turning the page with this team. You got rid of him.
Yeah.
Obviously, Mike Shanahan was just an ugly divorce.
Yeah, that was bad.
Who knows what could have happened with Joe Gibbs 2.0 if Sean Taylor didn't tragically lose his life, which is just still tragic in a sense.
Mind-boggling.
Um,
Well, even
I
Gruden was winning. Gruden was winning. I just didn't think that. I don't think they gave him the opportunities per se, the players and control. I would want to say with that move.
Well, there's no question Daniel Snyder is just as impatient as Jerry Jones, even though Jerry Jones is way worse. But it's like you can't be a winner if there is no continuity. And I hate to use the doggone cheaters as an example, but there's no denying the structure that the Patriots have.
Let me rewind back on what you said about the consistency. Yes, Jerry Jones does have consistency. He just doesn't know when to give up. There's a difference. Tony Romo should have been gone a long time ago. I don't care what any Cowboy fan says. Jason Garrett, too long. That's just almost like, I hate to reference baseball, but like the Giants, our beloved team. They held on to what the team did in the past. Got to move along. That's what's wrong with Jerry Jones. Snyder just doesn't give nobody a chance, i.e. that's why the name ain't been changed yet, because he's stubborn. And I believe that he thinks he has enough money to where he can lose his sponsors, and he won't change that name. I think Goodell is going to have to stop being in Robert Kraft's back pocket and be a commissioner. And if he wants to save the sponsors, because the NFL needs it more than the Redskins need it. So especially when you saying Pepsi is about to drop if they don't change the name, that's huge. Then next you lose liquor, that's huge too. Then food, everything trickles. So somebody has to step up and make it happen, because he's not going to do it. That's just my strong opinion. He's not going to change the name.
Well, the thing about that is his head coach, who he just hired, who we just previously mentioned,
It's a minority.
is a minority. He is Latino. He is half Puerto Rican. He is half black. Yes. Not to mention he's a former California Golden Bear and a former Californian. And I really do want Ron Rivera to do well in the nation's capital.
Of course.
I thought some would say he went past his welcome to Carolina, but did some good things in North Carolina, and definitely would do some things in the nation's capital. But he's been very vocal. He has been very precise in saying that he thinks it's time for the name to change. Again, I would talk to some of the team's alumni. I would talk to Daryl Green. I would talk to Doug Williams. Would talk to Art Monk. I definitely would get Joe Gibbs' input. If Mr. Mitchell was still with us, I definitely would, get with him and be like, okay, get with him. I'm pretty sure Joe, I have an opinion on everything Theismann would probably put in his 2 cents, because you know how much Joey T loves to talk. I mean, I like the colors. I like the colors of the team. I've always have.
They're sharp. They're sharp. I would say just change the name, put the spear on it. Find something to where the spear can go back on the helmet, or something. I even saw someone say you can change them to the Washington Red Tails. I'm like, that's not bad. I mean, then you're paying homage to the the fighters.
Yes, the Tuskegee Airmen. That's who the Red Tails
that's
are being referenced to.
Then I believe somebody else said, the Globetrotters. They said they will relinquish their name.
The Washington Generals. Yes.
So I'm like, okay, it's working, but it goes down to the man that pays the bills, man. And man that pays the PG&E there, I don't think they got to back him into a corner, a serious corner. And he doesn't feel that pressure yet. because you've seen a lot of other these companies and like I've seen things get changed. Like, okay, I don't know why you did that, but I understand why you did it. There was no need for you to do it, but they did it. This man is making dollar bills. There's no. It seems like he's not afraid to lose money, which he's about to. Has there been anything said from him? Has he came out and made a statement, a quote? Has anybody took a picture?
Well, let's. Well, I'm pretty sure there is a statement. Well, I know Goodell's made a statement. I know,
I've seen
again, Ron Rivera has made a statement. Although I think Goodell needs to be more public and be like, look, just need to. You just need to come out and just do it.
Somebody has
now.
To
Now, it does not say who it's from. It just says immediate release, and this was said on the 3rd. It says, and I quote, "In light of recent events around our country and feedback from our community, the Washington Redskins are announcing the team will undergo a thorough review of the team's name. This review formalizes the initial discussions the team has been having with the league in recent weeks. Dan Snyder, owner of the Redskins, stated this process allows the team to take into account not only the proud tradition and history of the franchise, but also input from our alumni, the organization, the sponsors, the NFL, and the community it's proud to represent off the field." Again, Ron Rivera has said, this is an issue of personal importance to me, and I look forward to working closely with Dan Snyder to make sure we continue the mission of honoring and supporting Native Americans and our military. We believe this review can and will be conducted with the best of interest in all mind. So again, that's a statement from the team, not necessarily from Daniel Snyder, but while we're speaking of this franchise, first off, rest in peace to Joe Bugle, one of the all-time great O-line coaches who famously created the Hogs that made holes for the Diesel John Riggins.
And he was also a coach.
Yes, he was. The day that you were there when you saw Napoleon Kaufman break the team record held by Bo Jackson for 226
on the Denver Broncos
against the logo.
Yes, you damn right. With that being said, that statement, I just call that due diligence, just to smooth things over. You know,
keep the hounds off.
Exactly, because that was just too easy and too well written. You know, a lot of stuff got covered. And not saying that Ron Rivera is saying that, because I believe he's believing that they're going to do that, per se. I use the quotes, Dr. Evil. But that's just all due diligence. I call it BS. We'll see. The man ain't been wanting to change the name since he bought the team. And like you said, protesters in front of it every game. ESPN has even did a piece on the name changing. The man doesn't care.
Well, again, if FedEx is saying we will back out of our naming rights to the stadium, they'll do it. Again, Nike has already taken its merchandise off their website. And we all know Nike makes money when it comes to these uniforms and gear distributing of the NFL. So, I mean, you have 3 minority owners that want to sell their stock of the team. As they say in the streets, it's getting real.
Yeah, it's definitely getting real.
It's and again, and I mean, the fans have been one of the most loyal fan bases. They are very passionate about their team, especially in the DC Virginia area. They are tick about their team.
Yep.
Now, we've already mentioned a couple of the nicknames that they could possibly go to. Of course, we already talked about would be the Red Tails, in homage to the Tuskegee Airmen, the all-black fighter pilot combat mission that fought in World War II.
Yes.
And that's, of course, keeping the same colors that they currently have now. The Red Tails are getting a lot of love. Some would consider the Washington Red Hawks, which of course
That's not
is
bad.
the mascot, which of course is the mascot of Vallejo High as they changed from Apaches to the Red Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I had nothing wrong with the Apache, because the mural that I can remember at Vallejo High was a beautiful portrait of an Apache chief, but it changed. But
Fair.
the Red Hawks would be one. Um, Now, I think this is silly, but they put in the Washington Pigskins, of course, making reference to the
Yeah.
Hogs and the Joe Gibbs era, which would be
That,
one
that was,
thing. The Washington Warriors
mm,
is 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 one. I mean, it could work, but see here's the thing. Somebody mentioned, well, Golden State uses the name Warriors, which is true. But keep in mind, after their first season, the Warriors went away from the native logo. And of course, when you think of the Warriors basketball team, you think of the logo of either the cable car in the
yep.
city or
Or Thunder.
the Bay Bridge.
That
So,
and Thunder.
yeah. So, I mean,
Right.
it's the brand has really not been about the native per se, it's just been
Yeah.
about the area, the region that they
Yeah.
represent.
You can tell by their
Um,
jerseys and then like you
yeah,
said, the logos and the Bay jersey is just that
it's one of the most classic jerseys of all time.
nephew has.
So, indeed. So, I guess my question would be, if you were a fan of the team, or if you're in the front office or the marketing department of the team, what, I guess, mascot, what nickname would you use going forward? Because apparently it seems like either the worst case scenario, I guess we could put it is, I mean, heck, we don't even know if we're gonna have an NFL season to begin with. But if there is a season, do they? Okay, 2020 is the final year we're using the Redskins name. Then 2021 we're rebranding it, or perhaps they get a new name this year and it starts. How? If this was your team, how would you handle it? I guess would be my question to you.
Well, first of all, this would be a good time with the circumstances that's going on right now to, I would say, get a marketing team out there and do that. As you say, we don't know if we're going to have a football season this year. But then, secondly, I would listen to the fans. I will get a poll, and I would say, the loyal fans. You can tell the loyal fans that will come with an answer. You will go down the list, and you could probably see consistency of a loyal fan's answer. And you run a poll, and then you kind of basically try to figure out how you want to brand the if we're rebranding and we're moving back to Washington, find something that's monumental to Washington and try to mold that. As you said, like the Warriors did. They did it with the city, like the Raiders. They did it with the city. The Giants built it off the fans. The Packers, they did everything they did was for Green Bay. That whole stadium is bought by the fans. Period.
The fans own the team.
The fans own exactly. So just listen to what the fans are saying. I mean, at the end of the day, you're gonna make your own decisions, but at least try to figure it out and come with a happy medium where everybody's happy. I mean, it's hard because you're changing something that's been going on for years. It's not like the Browns leaving and becoming the Baltimore Ravens. That's it's going to be hard. And I
Or
think
the or the Oilers becoming the Titans.
exactly. It's going to be hard. I think the reason why Snyder doesn't want to do it because it's hard. It's not rebranding it is real hard. It's not like a team moving from a city to another city and they're keeping the brand. Or like we just said, Browns becoming the Ravens, Oilers becoming the Titans, or I don't know. I would say, look how the Colts became Baltimore to Indianapolis.
In the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night, by the way, exactly. In the frigid cold, you see the trucks leaving.
Yeah. You see the Mayflower trucks just in the snow.
But if I was running the team, I would get some resources. I'll get somebody out there real fast in a hurry, because it's crunch time now, because you're losing sponsors. You do not want to lose sponsors.
No, you never do. That's money.
I don't give a darn how rich you are. You can Jerry Jones rich. Now, because if you're losing the sponsors, that is now coming out of your pocket more than it is that you're getting from the sponsors, because they are supplying you the money. Now you're spending, and you never want to do that. So he just needs to get a marketing team out there, get some resources out there, find something that's not going to be what somebody's going to call racial or hurt someone's feelings, and put it to the board and take a vote. That's the only thing he can do.
All right. Question number 2. If you still want to pay homage to Native Americans, you want to use a Native American name for a mascot, would you get with the tribes and be like, okay, what works, what doesn't work?
Well, yes. As you mentioned earlier while we were talking, like Florida State, they reached out to the tribe. They came into an agreement. Okay, what you're doing is not offending us. We understand. Boom, we're good. So all you got to do is ask. See how they feel. You are using their, and I believe the Redskin is a very, very,
it's a very derogatory slur. And I mean, just even trying to go through the history of what a Redskin is, it's just a derogatory slur. It just really is.
Try to get around it, my brother. It is what it is, and that's why they're really trying to. You know what? If you want my honest opinion, F it. Change the name. Change it. Just do it. It's never gonna, until you do it. I don't think that organization will profit of being in an NFL. Now, are you going to ask me, do I believe in karma or bad juju? Yes, I do. If it wasn't a problem, these people wouldn't be protesting in front of your stadium every time there's a football game there. So
I agree.
There's a time for a change for everything. But we can be on this topic from, what time is it now? It's 8:22. We can talk to this until 4 in the I don't think Snyder's going to make any kind of drastic change until a real sponsor hits him. Because I believe losing FedEx as a sponsor, okay, that's fine. Somebody will step up. Somebody be looking to invest. It's investing in the NFL. Pepsi, that's huge because they're the whole part of the NFL. So, and Nike. So those two are going to hit him, but that third one, I believe, has to hit for him to understand. And until then, we're going to be talking about this for days to come, even without NFL football this year.
So final question on this topic, and then we'll switch over to another topic. Give me your gut feeling. Will the name change in 2020?
Yeah, I believe it's going to be something that's going to back him into that corner. And he's going to have to make the change. There's just too much money at stake right now. And if there's no football played this year, we'll evaluate. They will evaluate it.
Well,
already
if there was
losing.
no season, that would be the perfect time to rebrand.
I,
Definitely.
I, I agree. Just gut it. Just go ahead and just do the whole thing over.
All right. Well, as soon as we get more information on this topic, we definitely will
Oh, it's
keep you apprised to it and
there
definitely
will be
discuss
many
it some
more
more.
topics. Yes, I agree. Plenty.
Because I'm pretty sure this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this particular subject involving the Washington football team. Now, switching gears. So, summer camp has started in baseball, and
Good.
they're trying to get things together also in the NBA. We'll touch on the NBA first. I saw pictures of the setup in Orlando, and it looks like a doggone AAU tournament. Now, I've never been to an AAU tournament, but you sort of kind of been in that atmosphere, so you can elaborate on this better than I can.
Well,
But just the setup, the way it looks, I'm not a fan.
are they going to be having? They're not going to be having three games ran at the same time, right? Because that's what more how an AAU tournament is ran. You have games going on at each time. But no, I don't think so because they're saying they're giving you different times. So I guess is one team going to play on that court, and then they're going to transfer to the other court. I'm not. I'm not understanding the set. I thought they were just going to use one big old arena, and then when one team is done, clean that arena, get it all straightened up for the next team. So I'm
Well,
not.
supposedly the original plan was 3 games. Not to cut you off, I apologize.
No worries.
3 games a day. So like the early. Well, so okay. So basically, if it's 3 games a day on the West Coast, the first game would start around 7:30 a.m.,
Yes.
which most of us would be either getting ready for work, at work, or sleeping.
Oh, I have my app
So,
up running so we can talk. So we have something to talk about. I gotta view it. So I'll be looking at it some way somehow.
but um, but I mean, you have. I think now the numbers have gone up to 38 players that have tested positive for COVID. Um, and then, not to mention, some players have been like, I really don't want to be isolated in Orlando and be secluded in Orlando. I'm just not going to go. Obviously, Avery Bradley says, I'm not going, which hints the Lakers to sign J.R. Smith.
Yes.
Um, Other players have been like, I'm not comfortable going.
Well, and some of them know themselves that
Um,
they can't keep themselves in a bubble.
yes,
And so if you know
yes.
you can't do that, then and excuse me, I think the NBA said they will be fining some of the players if they don't follow the bubble rules. And also, I believe I can't remember the player's name, but he told his wife, our fiance, she can't go to any salons until the season's over. Oh, that was baseball. Excuse me. That's what it was. A baseball player told his significant other she can't go to the salon until the season's over. So we've touched on this in all of our other videos of the pilot and probably the pilot special I uploaded. But yes, we want sports. I've mentioned this countless times. I want it, need it. It's a part of me. It makes I wouldn't say it's not like my life, but going to work throughout the week, you come home, you turn on a baseball game a little bit, or you watch some basketball, or you see somebody punching somebody, even the Thursday night, Monday night football games, or you get the weekend. It's a sense of relaxation. And I believe any sports fan that watch sports will agree with what I'm saying. It's like that this is
It's our
our
escape from reality.
exactly. It's yes, we take our mind off what's going on with the country. Not saying we want to take our mind off of it, but every once in now and again, it's nice to sit down in front of your television and not hear another cop kills a black man, or there's a murder here, or the weather's doing this, an earthquake, our
To
president
which
leaving. It's too much going on, and sports.
to which To which, unfortunately, I hate to report this, but unfortunately, a high school football player, a black kid, was hung from a tree again this past weekend, which is really making me sick. But again, that's the top onto your report. This is why we watch sports, because we're tired of hearing crap like this. Now, yes, a lot of it has to be blamed on the media, no question. You won't get no argument from me on that. But it's like, for me, okay, I bust my butt at my job. Like my mom always says, I work to live, not live to work.
I,
Okay, I
yeah,
go work my 10 plus hours.
exactly.
I want to come home, open up a cold one, whatever a cold one is to you, and for those 2 or 3 hours, I want to cheer, root for my team, and take my mind off the worries of, okay, paying rent or paying a bill, or making sure my car is functional, and for people that are parents and have significant others,
Just escape for
it
a minute.
just
Just
escape
escape.
for a minute.
Just for a minute. That's all. And where I'm getting with that is, I know that they're trying their hardest to give us that relief, but JC, there's the virus is springing back up again. This was supposed to happen in the winter, because remember the heat was supposed to suppress it. That's where our
Yes.
time to get out. Well, okay, so you dropped the ball there, and now we're here, but yet you're trying to force sports upon us. And now I'm reading, quote, that the NFL is trying to find a way to integrate fans this season. Are you kidding me?
Not only that, but making them sign a waiver. If I'm not
I
mistaken.
believe, I believe you're spot on with that. Okay, I'm sorry. First of all, you're supposed to be masked up at all times. It's a strict guideline, especially in California. We are supposed to wear a mask every time we step foot out of this house. Okay. Now,
It's also mandated here in Las Vegas. Yes.
okay. So here's a problem that I have with this. You see, oh, another thing before I get into that is, if there's a two-parent home, if you do not have to bring your child out, leave your child at home, or you put a mask on your child. How many times have you been in the store and you seen two parents pushing the cart, walking with their kid? They have a mask on, but their kid doesn't have a mask on. So with
Now
that being,
again, the only exception I believe is children that are 2 and under. If
yeah,
I'm not
I'm
mistaken.
talking your nephew and
There,
yeah, both my kids size walking around with no mask on. Now some kids do have it on, but what I'm getting at is, kids, unless you are going to require kids to wear a mask inside that stadium too. But then you got to take your mask off to eat. Then you're still going to the bathrooms. You it's too much. They should take just the year off and reassess things. Believe you me, if you get it right the next year and this country is opened up, every stadium will not have an empty seat. Every arena, every
I
sport.
agree. I
Brother, I
agree.
watched the Sacramento Republic soccer game. Just the U.S. Open. I will get a ticket. I will go to Monterey to watch some golf. San Francisco to watch some golf. As long as it's safe, just get it right. Because I feel that the bubble in the NBA, because we're to jump back on what we're talking about in the NBA, somebody's gonna catch it. Even in boxing, somebody has caught it. So you're not going to the bubble. There is no bubble. The bubble has gotten inside the bubble, or the virus has gotten inside the bubble. Excuse me. So
Well, I mean, just today, and we was looking at this about the Milwaukee Bucks. They shut down their training facility. Obviously, as we know, California is about to be shut down again.
I'm just waiting.
So, I mean,
I'm just waiting for Governor Newsom. Can you turn the line on for me, please? I'm just waiting for Governor Newsom to there we go. To what? Oh no, this is episode 2. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, my kid is inquiring about the show. we're doing episode 2 right now.
Which we will put it on our YouTube page. Yes, we do have a YouTube page, the Mizzle Dub Show on YouTube. That's where you can catch us at.
Subscribe.
And yes, we are definitely working on definitely subscribe. And yes, we are indeed working on a theme song. So all that's coming into fruition. So just ride with us for a minute. We're getting there. But
so that was our commercial break. Then the commercial break.
What he said.
Pay some.
Of course, this is what me and you have been doing for 23 years when we haven't been at school or haven't been doing our adult duties, is going back and forth on sports subjects. And I'm just like, okay, is the 4 major brands in North America, the NFL, NHL, MLB, NBA, I mean, if you take the year off, if you take 2020 off and just start anew in 2021, is losing all that revenue going to be that drastic and make your league go file for bankruptcy? Absolutely not.
No.
It's not. And I think the owners, the greedy owners, need to grow a set of testicular fortitude.
Preach it. There you go. Here we go. Talk about it.
Okay. Grow a set and be like, you know what? I need to make sure my players are okay.
Right.
Because I'll say it like this. Now we just talked about him earlier on, but you know for a fact, Al Davis lived, sleep, breathed, died football.
Yes.
But Al also cared for his players.
Loved his players. I cared. That's a loose word right there. Loved his players. Once a Raider, always a Raider. No matter if you don that uniform for even if it was a one game, you were family to Al. So,
but the point is, the point I'm trying to make is, I would have been like, F the season. I mean, I want to play, yeah, but it's like, I need to make sure my guys are okay.
Yes.
And again, I would love to have a season, and I would love to put my team colors on and see if they can defend their conference championship and get back to the big game and obviously try to win it. But again, the owners need to value the life of the players.
Exactly.
Stop looking at them as dollar signs and be like, you know what? These are people's lives that I'm messing with here.
Yes.
And I don't need to do that. And there goes some. Okay, it sounds like another war zone outside. What the heck's going on out there?
Well, it's only July 5th.
But at 8:38 Pacific Standard Time. But hey, what do I know? But I mean, I agree. As much as I would love to just sit there and view my sports on TV, I am okay letting my sports be my Xbox playing some Madden or playing some 2K. I'm okay with that. It's just
we want sports because we don't want to be sitting here and just rambling about not having sports, COVID-19, President Trump. We want to have something. I want to wake up in the morning before I go to work, watch Sports Center, and be like, "Ooh, I'm texting you talking about we got to discuss that. Did you see that dunk?" Or, I don't watch that much baseball, but do you know I watch Sports Center for the flashy plays, the leather, You know, so yes,
Full extension.
exactly. We want the sports, but don't. Especially Florida is rising in cases, and where is basketball being played in Florida?
In Orlando, Florida, yes.
There, so
Well, here's here's the one thing that really got to me, and I'm going into baseball now. When the best player in the game, the face of your league, if Mike Trout is thinking about not playing, and even though MLB does not do a good job of marketing Trout, even though he
they are
plays in Southern California,
horrible at it marketing.
but but if he's saying I'm worried about getting my wife sick, if your spidey senses do not go off and be like, the face of my league, the best player in my league is thinking about not going, okay, I might need to calm down and reconsider. And yes, I am all for Gerald Dempsey Posey III sitting out this season if he wants to.
Get the knee,
I am all for it.
get the knees healthy. Oh, hey, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. There will be a slight bias or homerage, as we would say, when it comes to baseball. We're both Giants fans. We love them, and as he just said, Gerald Dempsey III taking a year off. I'm all for that because I'm tired of seeing him. Unless we're going to move him to first base permanently, okay. But if he's going to be back there catching, yeah, let him take the year. Yeah, whatever. That's how I feel about.
I am all for Joey Bart playing all 60 games. I'm all for it.
Hey,
let the kid play.
Experience. So then when see, this is where I miss Bruce Bochy. Posey wouldn't be playing. I guarantee you, Posey would not be playing. Joey Bart will be getting those reps because when the season we get the full season, that man got a little bit of experience. Bochy can put him in there at any circumstance. Bochy had to trust you, and so yeah, I'm all for it. And not to piggyback off you jumping into baseball, I wouldn't even go to basketball. I'm glad the Warriors are not even playing in this whatever that's going on in Orlando.
Oh, so am I.
Clay and Steph more time to rest, come back, run and gun. Cheetahs.
The Remember Us tour coming in 2020, 2021.
And quote my brother just saying that right now. Somebody screenshot or this video will be posted again on the Mizzle Dub Show on YouTube. Subscribe, please. And yeah, to get back to basketball and stuff like that, I think it's all rushed. Facilities are getting shut down. Players that are supposed to be going to Orlando are testing positive. Some of these players are over 60 years old. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you have to think about the coaches. Agreed.
I read this before in one of our videos. I'm gonna say it again. You probably hear it. You're probably gonna hear it a lot from me. But all money ain't good money, like in dominoes. It ain't. And very right now, this is being forced. I don't think the time that everything was shut down was enough time to figure things out because there's no vaccine, if there ever will be one. So
stop believing Bill Gates for everything. Bill Gates is not a doctor. He's not in the medical field. He deals with computers. Stop listening to Bill and Melinda. Listen to a doctor.
You know what? Dr. Fauci, am I saying it right? Excuse me if I'm saying your name wrong.
Dr. Fauci.
Verbal with name.
No, that's correct pronunciation. Dr. Fauci, yes.
Didn't he say that you can't put football in the bubble? So that right there should just stop the season right there. He pretty much said it will be hard for sports to be played at all this year. And right now, you can't. How are you going to practice social distancing in basketball where you got to play defense?
You can't.
Thank you. I rest my case. Even if you
If
know
you're
because
talk,
you tested
if you're
and
talk,
you may not even have you may have the disease, but it won't show up.
well, my thing is okay. Let's see. If you're on the basketball court, I have the ball and I'm palming. That's probably about 6 feet right there. To where
Give or take.
back in the old be you can hand check. So I mean that's almost like a hand check
Yeah,
is my 6 feet.
yeah.
And
Um,
oh Lord, have you seen Dwayne Wade's new hairdo?
I'm typically staying away from whatever he's doing. You know,
Well, we'll talk about this off the air. Off, off air, we'll talk about that. His hairdo.
but
But I mean, yeah. I mean, Victor Oladipo was the last known superstar saying, "I'm not going. I'm not playing."
and he's healthy enough to
Um,
play.
yes, he is, and he is an absolute monster when he's
Uh,
healthy.
well,
Boy,
I already said about
boy's
him.
got some hops.
I I followed that man from Indiana, and I told you he was going to
Yes,
be a darn good basketball player.
yes,
He
yes.
he just gets it. It's like he's smooth out there. Like I don't know. It's hard to explain. He's just a good basketball player all around. And if he's not wanting to play and he's healthy, but see, that's not going to mean nothing. That it's when LeBron says he doesn't want to play. The moment LeBron said he doesn't want to play, it'll be shut down. But no.
I
And it's
agree
about
because I mean the players are going to follow his lead. You're absolutely right about that.
and this is going to be what people are going to say that I'm a Laker hater. Facts. I think he wants to win a championship for LA, but it's only going to be for 60 games. Ice play. So and
Well,
you already know how I feel about the San Antonio Spurs, their first and then one of their championships. It's a big
yes,
fat on it to me. You didn't play a full season of basketball.
you said the same thing about the '82 Washington football team when they won Super Bowl 17 in a strike shortened season. I understand it.
You didn't
That's your
play
take. I get it.
full. You didn't play your full season. Yes, whatever happened, it got shortened. But I believe that nobody should be considered a champion. You just play it out. Okay, you won that whatever that was. And I don't even want my Sixers to be in it. That's yes, I go both ways. I'm a Sixer and a Warrior. I get criticized for that a lot, but I don't even want my Sixers in there because I want Ben Simmons to be out the whole year and get that back right. I need Joel Embiid to be on the court more than he is now, even though he's playing more basketball now, but he's still being limited because of he's a freaking 7-footer. And
Yeah,
that's
those
hard.
feet,
Yes.
those
I need full
those
reps.
feet.
I need
But
reps.
one thing I did agree with, and I forgot who posted this article, but it was a great read. But in a sense, some people say yeah that there might be that some fans will be like it's an asterisk, but this by far probably might be the hardest year if it continues, mind you. But this might be the most difficult year to win a championship simply because you stopped, in a sense, 2/3 of the season done, and then you're trying to pick back up. Because again, as we said, how many of these players are in game shape?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, there's basketball shape, then there's game shape. Are you are you in 48-minute game shape?
I say no.
People will probably say no. Okay. Like I said, right now they be on vacation on a boat somewhere because the
Fish.
season ends in June.
Yeah.
So you're trying to pick back up in July, and then the end of the season takes place in October when it's normally training camp.
Right. And excuse me, not to let me chime in on that. Isn't there trying a way, or they have it fixated to where the season ends and then it picks right back up? Did I try?
No, last I read on that, if they go through with it, the 2020-2021 season would not start until somewhere in December. Again, that's if
They're giving the players too
they go
much to
through
rest.
that. Pretty much. But one thing I will give Adam Silver quote is Adam Silver did say that we will check, see how bad the spread is, and we'll go from there. So it's not like
He's a
he's
breath.
trying to be like. It's not like he's trying to be with Goodell and being Iron Fist. He is taking it. He is taking COVID into high consideration, unlike others.
He's a breath of fresh air for the league. You know, going from David Stern, who I had much respect for. That man ran the NBA. He didn't take no.
He
We're gonna keep
he made the
kid
he
friendly. So
made the NBA global.
yeah, he didn't take no crap from nobody. But I like Adam Silver because if there's a problem at hand, he gets it quick and tries to figure it out. So I know the NBA is in good hands with him, but I think it's still a little rushed, just a little bit. Just take the, just come back fresh. That's all. And oh, while we're on the NBA, I'm hearing that they're trying to find another bubble city for to do another piece of the NBA. You know, they have the teams fighting for that. I thought they said they wanted to try Chicago, but I believe Chicago said no. Did you hear anything about that?
Well, Chicago just put a mandate on traveling.
Oh, 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 that's huge.
Well, let me pull it up because I read it last night. Hold on, Aaron.
But what they were saying that the Warriors said that they will join in if they went through, and that's about the only team I heard that said they would. Didn't hear no other teams. But I, how are you going to get all these networks? Like, because does ESPN and TNT they structure something to where they can host these games, or is one network getting it?
I know there's a deal somewhere. I know the opening night, I think, was a TNT doubleheader, if I'm not mistaken.
Ah,
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they have made um, a deal with the networks to make sure games are same. Okay, it was an emergency travel order.
mhm.
So, on July 2nd, the Chicago Department of Public Health Commissioner Allison Ardway issued an emergency travel order directing travelers entering or returning to Chicago from states experiencing a surge in COVID to quarantine for a 14-day period.
Hmm. Interesting.
And yeah, and the order is supposed to go into effect on July 6th, which is tomorrow. And that's going into effect from travelers following from the states in Chicago. Arriving in Chicago is Alabama, Arkansas, Arizona, California, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Louisiana, North Carolina, Nevada, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, and Utah.
So just shut the whole country down. Shut all flying. That's pretty much, well, especially for Florida because they need the players to fly in, right? Or are they flying the players? Are the players already there? They can't go nowhere.
I don't think anyone, unless the Heat or the Magic are there, I don't think any teams have arrived there.
Huh. That's interesting.
Because I know there was a certain date that they were supposed to report to Orlando, but again, if cases keep spiking in Florida, which they have, and they
Yeah.
keep spiking in Texas, and they keep spiking in Arizona, and spiked out here in Vegas, it's just like, dude, just stop, stay home, quarantine, and let this thing pass. Again,
Ever
I
pass
get
it?
it.
Nobody.
Again, I get it. We all want to go back to a form of normalcy. I get it. I understand it. You won't get an argument from me about that. But also at the same time, I value my life and I value my fellow man's life or my fellow lady's life or, I especially the kids, especially the elderly. I value their life. And for I don't know if it was the governor of Texas or senator in Texas that said to sacrifice the old people because they're gonna die anyway.
What was
For
that? That was in Mississippi,
no, that was in Texas.
Texas. Okay. So
But but
I
but
did
but
hear that.
but, but regardless, and I mean, even Captain America said it in Infinity War. We don't trade a life. You just don't. So I'm just like, let this thing pass. Be with your family and take
Right.
care of them, and let this thing pass.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, otherwise, now again, there are some people they're going to be hard headed. They're not going to listen. Well, that's on them. But don't put yourself or don't put your family in harm's way because somebody else wants to be hard headed. Don't be that person. So, like I said, let's just take the L on this porch here and just come back in 2021 and hopefully by this time it'll pass.
I agree. I agree. But to end on the basketball quote, I have a question for you on
Okay.
you. How would you handle the basketball situation? You be Adam Silver right now. What would you tell your players and the world who want sports, but what how would you handle it?
If I'm Adam Silver, first off, I would be in constant contact with the CDC,
Mm.
and I definitely would be in contact with Dr. Fauci. And if he's giving me information and he's telling me this, okay, first and foremost, okay, I have to make sure my players are okay, and I cannot risk my players putting them out there getting sick if I'm getting right information, proper information from the CDC, from the doctors. If they're telling me this, and there's no signs of progress, okay, I am not by any means, I am not going to be risking my players out there just for the sake to get revenue for my league. I'll take the L and I'll tell the owners, I said, look, y'all just need to take the L because, again, I am not risking the health and lives of these players. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Okay. Now, if signs show that it's on the downtrend, we'll take it step by step. But if there's no signs of improvement, I'm not risking them
I like it.
because I'm not looking at them as employees of the league. I'm looking at them as people, and I'm looking at them with their life. Okay, because they have, you know, wives and kids to look after. And I need to make sure in my conscience they go back home to them because if something was to happen and it happened on my watch, it would mess with me on the inside.
Correct. 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 That that's Too bad it wasn't that easy. Too bad you run the NBA and you're looking at it that way. But the almighty dollar wins every time. Every time.
Yeah, and I mean, I get it. The Bible does say money answereth all things, but it's the love of it that makes it evil. It's not the root of evil, it's the love of it that makes it evil. And sometimes the obsession and the love of money just gets things in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally agree. All right, what's next on the agenda, sir? I think we got one more topic before we get to our one thing to take away.
Well, we did possibly mention about boxing because there are some fights that we are excited about.
Oh, so is that how we're gonna end it? We're gonna end it on a good. You know what? Let's do it that way because boxing is in a positive way right now. So
Yes.
all the other
Yes.
negative stuff we were talking about, let's end on a positive note with some good boxing. So take the floor. Let's do boxing.
Well, it is official that Wilder and Fury will go at it for a third time to complete the trilogy,
And we're looking at
and they're aiming. We're looking in December, which would be my birthday gift to myself, and they're trying to have it take place inside the Al, aka the Death Star, aka Allegiant Stadium,
Raider Nation stand up.
which definitely would be a very huge ticket if it was to go down.
And you can distance in there. So that spread it around. You know, mark off 6 feet every seat and keep them at it. I told you, if it's safe, I'm going.
You have made that very clear. Yes.
I might have spoken. I might have said that out loud, but yeah, I'm going.
That's how he feels. That's how he really, really
I
feels.
I will be in there wearing Raider gear with a Raider mask on, yelling Raider Nation while watching a boxing match. Yes.
While taking pictures of the big torch. That
Okay.
torch is going to be huge. My goodness.
But to get back to the trilogy, I think I think Wilder wins the third fight. I think he's
Really, you're making a prediction already.
yeah. The reason why is has Wilder got back in the ring and been training to become a more polished boxer, or is he still looking for that one haymaker, excuse me, to win the fight? Fury ain't gonna let him get that one haymaker,
No, you're gonna have to box him.
and he's gonna throw his weight on you.
Yes.
So, with that being said, and also, you just mentioned that Wilder and Fury have signed on for the third. Well, they did sign on, but they're putting the pieces together for December. But Fury also signed a contract to fight Joshua. Now, I'm not much of a, well, I am much of a conspiracist when it comes to things like this. How is my man signing? He has to go into that fight being the champion. Yes.
Well, that brings up the question: if the fight was to happen, going on as scheduled, and Wilder does beat Fury, what jeopardy does it put that fight in? That's a very good question. That's a very good.
I believe there's something in the contract language if he doesn't win the fight, because if for it to be signed that fast before they even made the third fight date set, there's something in that clause.
Well, it was just like the situation when Tyson fought Douglas. The consensus was Tyson beats Douglas. We get Holyfield Tyson in 1990. But of course, we all know that didn't happen. And I'm still trying to figure out to this day how in the heck do you leave your swell guard? How do you not have that?
It was a lot of stuff left behind. Like that fight was sabotaged. Like that should have been a omen. Like okay, it's some bad juju going on here.
Yeah. And like our brother,
what were they using again? Was it
and like our brother, and like our brother said, he was lubing his face with a condom to get the swelling down.
Yes, but they were using the gel from a condom.
You were using a water filled condom to get the swelling down off of his eye. Like, how do you leave an eye swell? That's like me going to my job and saying, I ain't got no spatula. How am I supposed to make a hamburger? Or a grilled chicken sandwich or a Philly cheesesteak.
Well, I'll say this.
With those spatulas.
It's almost like you going to a barbecue place, right? To get some barbecue. You say, let me get some ribs. We ran out of ribs. Well, let me get some chicken. I ain't got no chicken. Well, let me get some links. We ain't got no links. Then why the hell are you open?
Yes.
It's like McDonald's telling you that they ain't got no more quarter pounders.
Yeah. No, we're out of Big Macs. What the hell?
Yeah, that Tyson story is still funny to this day. That goes up there with Spinal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the touchback on Fury and the Wilder fight, yes, I am taking, and I'm a Wilder fan, but I know a polished boxer to a brawler. A polished boxer, 9 times out of 10 is going to beat that brawler because a brawler is coming in throwing all haymakers, and the boxer is going to be like, well, as soon as you throw that one haymaker and you miss,
I'm a counter.
Here comes that uppercut.
But as we've always said, a boxer will always beat a puncher. 99.9 of the time. Now, don't get me wrong. There have been those occasional one-hitter quitters that have happened, but the next time they fought, the boxer always gets revenge.
Okay, I wanted to say something, but I forgot. We're keeping it for the kids on this show, so yeah, we'll just keep it right there. We'll keep it right there. So with that, we have that fight to end on the topic with that fight. But then we have Loma Chico
and Lopez. Oh
my!
Now,
if there's ever a sport getting it right, boxing is trying to make up for all the crappy fights they have given us in the past.
Now, keep in mind, originally this fight was supposed to take place May 30th.
Oh, so they give it to us. Okay, so we're getting a little later.
Yeah.
No, May 30th of next year.
No. It was supposed to be May 30th this year, but obviously COVID took over and it got pushed back to this year. But the fact is, it's happening. If you have not seen Teofimo Lopez fight, go watch his highlights on YouTube. The young man is dynamic, and this by far will be the toughest test for both men. Obviously, Lomachenko has the outstanding amateur record, and of course he is developing into his own to be a pro, but I'm telling you, if you are a boxing fan,
young man can throw feather.
You will enjoy this fight because, as they always say, styles make fights.
Oh yes,
and definitely these two styles will make a fight. Again, it's the big time for both men. It's the biggest test for both men.
Yeah.
For both men, and we will see if Mr. Lopez is ready for the big time.
Oh yeah. Now, are they giving us ESPN? Or are they going to take this? Are they going to try to make us pay for it?
Well, considering that both men are under the top ranked banner, it might be an ESPN Plus type of PPV.
Well, I got ESPN Plus. I'm not worried about it. I will be tuned in, as I would say. Yeah, that's going to be a very, very good fight. I don't know who they'll they'll try to fill each other out. You know, 'cause Lomo likes to get in there and work the body,
Yes, he does.
go to the
And
body, and
he's
once he breaks your body down, then all your head is open game.
yeah, it's target practice.
And so, and then it's the same for Lopez. He's the man just throws the leather very well. It's going to be the whoever slips first, I believe. I'm not going to even pick a winner for this fight. I'm just going to watch.
Well, only thing I can hope is I hope it becomes a trilogy.
No,
I hope it can add to the great boxing trilogies that we've had in the past. So, as we said, the fight is supposed to take place on our beloved Pop's birthday, which of course is September the 19th.
yes.
Saturday. Again, the fight was originally supposed to take place inside the Mecca, Madison Square Garden. I don't know if it's still going to aim for MSG, but they're definitely aiming for a September 19th date. And not only that, it is to unify the lightweight title, which of course
we're putting the belts on the line.
Oh yeah, we're unifying the lightweight division. Yes.
Oh, well, then you're gonna see a lot of body punching from Lomachenko.
Oh yeah.
When his title's on the line, he works the body a lot. If you have watched any of his fights.
Yes. Yes, Lomachenko is currently the WBO and WBA lightweight champion, and Mr. Lopez is the IBF lightweight champion, of course. That leaves out the WBC lightweight champion. But yes, it is a unification bout of the lightweight division to garner 3 belts. It'll definitely be something. Lomachenko coming into the fight 14-1 with 10 KOs. Although he hasn't fought since October of 2019. So
that fight was a good one too.
Yeah. Will the ring rust play a factor since he last fought Luke Campbell, or will it help him out? Lopez comes in 15-0, 12 KOs. His last fight, that knockout, my goodness.
We don't want to talk about it.
Talk about go to sleep. But yeah, this will definitely be definitely a possible fight of the year candidate with these two. Again, they're good fighters to watch. Again, if you haven't watched Lopez, watch him tonight. And heck, if you just want to go watch Lomachenko do body work, go do it too, because
it's going to be in the ring. It's going to be two artists in the ring, and I feel the first 3 rounds will probably be a filler round. But once those 2 guys get comfortable and they feel like they can start letting their arms go and let it fly, I mean, we'll get a couple of knockdowns. But I believe it's going to be some leather and some oohs and ahs. Like they're really gonna hit each other. They're gonna touch each other up real good.
I agree.
So yeah, we didn't have too much to talk about boxing. So with that being said, before we end this show, what is your one takeaway of anything that's going on? It doesn't have to need to be sport.
Well, we've sort of kind of talked about this, but I am very outraged of what is taking place at Fort Hood in Texas. How you and just the whole women being sexually abused in the military. Period. These women, as are the men, are giving up their lives to preserve the freedoms of this country, and yet they're still getting sexually abused. It's not right. I don't like it. And the fact that Vanessa again reported this and nothing was done, and then she had to go through the torture of getting beat to death with a hammer, then having concrete poured on her remains, and then the guy that does it wants to take the pussy way out, excuse my French, but takes his own life because you want to get questioned. It bugs me.
Yeah.
It really bugs me because, again, like I said before, when a person wants to sign up and become a soldier and serve, it's almost like a college recruit, meaning the parents are trusting you, the commander of the base is putting their trust in you to make sure that their child is taken care of. Now, again, they can understand if their child went to war and was a casualty of war. They'll be heartbroken, yes, but they would understand, okay, that's what he or she signed up to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if my child is getting killed at his or her base, where he or she is supposed to be protected and the commander's supposed to make sure nothing happens to them, and yet this keeps happening, I'm outraged. I have a problem, and I demand some doggone answers.
Hmm.
So the Army needs to come up with something. Fort Hood needs to be thoroughly investigated and need to understand what the hell's going on inside Fort Hood, because it keeps happening too much. Again,
Well, this is
if
about the second, third time. Am I correct?
yes, again, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck,
Half black.
it's a duck.
Very true.
Okay. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Okay, something's going on. Okay, what's going on? Why does this keep happening? And why are we still sweeping it under the rug? And I pray that her family gets vengeance and her family gets justice, but not just her. The young man that got killed last year. That's quite funny how he gets killed a few days before he was supposed to get discharged, and he ends up getting killed. I pray his family gets vengeance, because again, if you are at Fort Hood, if you're at Fort Hood and you knew this stuff happening and you did nothing about it, I pray to God you see their faces when you sleep and you can't sleep. Again, and I'm not trying to be cruel, but it's like, okay, you don't want to do nothing. Well, I hope you see their faces and you can't sleep until you decide until you get convicted to do what's right, because this is just ridiculous.
I agree. I agree. Yeah. Thank you for that, brother. That's needed to be heard. Mine, I'm gonna go a little different with my one takeaway from the day. Mine's gonna get a little bit better, but I'm gonna go with Mr. Kanye West announcing that he wants to be president of the United States.
Oh boy, I, I,
My take on that is it's trying to get you to not to go vote. It's almost like, because we already know that he is friends with Trump. So now, why do we need another celebrity to be thrown in there to be ran as a Democrat to go against Trump? So, do you want to vote for Kanye or do you vote for Trump? Do you see what the media is trying to do to you right now? They're trying to take your mind off something else. First of all, yes, we know Kanye does have the money to get in there, and being backed by Mr. Tesla himself, that's pretty damn good. But I don't want somebody that has not been a political person. Trump wasn't political, so I didn't want him in office. I would have dealt with Hillary because Hillary is political. She can go delegate and talk. Kanye is a musician. And he's not up here. He's not here. Have you seen his clothing line? And I rest my case right there.
Have you seen his shoes?
The shoes are the clothing line. It looked like both of your nephews went outside and played on cement and rolled around in it and got holes in their clothes. You effing kidding me? I'm not about to spend thousands of dollars for a pair of jeans that I can go get some scissors and cut into it and rub it around in dirt, not wash it, and make it look like an outfit.
See here? And what's up with the whole holy jeans thing anyway? I'm not.
Different time. That's a difference. I wouldn't go dip down into that far, but Kanye deciding that he wants, like, really, we dealt with President Bush, who has a D average. I'm not saying that Kanye West is not a smart man, because he is, but what's lately that's been going on with Kanye West, bruh, you're not even mentally ready to take on this country. If the man went on stage that where other people voted and told the person that won that award, my bad, you won that award, but
Beyonce one of the greatest music of all time. I'm happy for you.
Interviews.
I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce one of the greatest music of all time.
So that is my takeaway from today: is Kanye West announcing that he wants to be president. I have heard it all. I've seen it all. I mean, I thought the country was over when they let Arnold Schwarzenegger become the governor of California. Hey, whatever. Man can't say California right, but we just let him run it. Whatever. You know, okay. Now you throw stuff at me.
But even he's making fun of Donald Trump because he's not doing a good job. You should watch.
But then you get Trump, and now you want to throw Kanye West in my face. Whatever. That is my take.
You might as well let Dwayne Johnson run. Heck, why not?
I would rather go with that than Kanye West. If they threw that at me, I'd have been like, you know what? I could actually vote for this man because he speaks with some common sense, at least. You know, and his shoes look way better than Kanye's. Just saying.
And he's not married to a Kardashian.
And you know, that's where your career pretty much goes to the dumps when you get with the Kardashian. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
They turn Bruce into a woman.
And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of the Mizzle Dub Show. Again, we're going to continue to work hard. We're going to get better. We will not try to cut each other off as often.
That is something we do need to work on.
Much practice. But I do thank you for anybody that decides to watch this episode, view, subscribe, Mizzle and Dub on YouTube.
We love y'all.
Thank you. And sir, it's been a pleasure doing another show with you. I will get this uploaded pretty soon. Good night, Canada.
And happy Canada Day.
Exactly. All right, brother. I'll hit you in a minute.
All right.
All right.